pine. And I love majestic trees. They just add so much to the character of every place they stand. Well, it turns out the tiny little side yard between these two houses, I don't know how wide it is. It can't be more than about 25, 30 feet, it looks, from what I saw in the TV news stories. In this tiny little side yard, way, way, way back when, it was registered as a buildable lot. So the owner of the side yard sold it to a developer, and the developer says, hey, it's a buildable lot. So they're going to put up a skinny, completely out of scale house that looks nothing like the older homes. Looks like they could have been built in the, 30s or 40s. And they're going to squeeze a skinny home. But here's what's got the neighborhood on fire. They're going to have to cut down this 100-year-old ponderosa pine that everybody loves so much. Lisa Perriott is a neighbor, and she told Cairo 7 News.
It's majestic. It's 100 feet tall. It's perfectly straight. It's gorgeous. It frames all of our yards.
And so all the neighbors are getting together, and they're trying to have Seattle deny the building permit to the developer who bought this lot.
We found out that the only way that the tree would be protected is if it wasn't buildable, the site. And so that's how we started peeling off the layers of the onion about this historic lot exception.
And so the neighbors say, but to fight this, it could cost us about $10,000. But they're ready to do it to save not only the ponderosa pine, but to keep a skinny house that is completely out of scale with the neighborhood from being squeezed in between these two houses. And I will tell you, I am so torn on this because I am an absolute believer in private property rights. And I mean, the bedrock, most important part of a democracy is property rights. Without property rights, democracy and a free land and free people cannot happen, which is why we have such strong property rights laws in our state and in our nation. But aesthetically, I think cutting down a 100-year-old ponderosa pine is horrible. Squeezing a skinny house in between two much, much, much older houses in a neighborhood where it's aesthetically going to be just a blight, I think that's a dumb thing to do. And yet, there's a big part of me that says, hey, neighbors, if you want to save that pine, forget about taking away the rights of the developer who bought that property, because taking away somebody's rights for something you feel, well, somebody's going to take away your rights before you know it for something they feel. And we got to be really careful about that. If they really wanted to save the side lot and the ponderosa pine, they should have banded together whenever the lot became available and purchased. Now, I don't know if it was on the open market or if it was some private deal. But that's the way to save something like that. Neighbors band together, buy that piece of property, and then just deed it forever as a pocket park for the neighborhood. And the tree can never be cut down unless it's dying or dead. And then you've done it without trampling. And look, the developer, I don't have great affection for a developer who would cut down a 100-foot tree and squeeze a house in where it's going to look bad. But you know what? My opinion on aesthetics should not matter, nor should the neighbors. The way to save that tree would be to buy that lot at full value. But I'm really torn, because if I lived in that neighborhood, I'd feel the exact same way all those neighbors do. That it's an affront, that it's an awful thing to do, and I understand the feeling. But I just caution everybody. Taking away rights because of feelings mean that someday someone can take away your rights because of their feelings. And we better be really careful about that slippery slope. All right, there you have it. That is your big lead for today.
The Big Lead on Cairo Radio.
You want to talk about a random pathway we're going to go down on